Why bring the striped kites down? The older boy asked. This will be the last time we'll be able to play with them. Yes, the girl said, let them fly as long as they can. So instead of bringing the kites in, they cut the strings. As the kites were freed, a strong gust of wind burst from the sky. One by one, the butterflies and dragons disappeared as if flying home to the moon. As the kites vanished from sight, there was a sad sigh. No one spoke, but they all wished for an escape from tomorrow's tragedy. Quietly, the family packed their belongings and began to climb down the mountain. They walked along a long time, so long that the moon rose overhead and they began to shiver with cold. Are we lost? The child asked. This does not look like the way home. That's impossible, his mother told him. How can we be lost? There is no other direction than down. But the boy was right, he said. Look at the rock before us. We have climbed this mountain many times, and yet I have never seen this rock or any rock of this type. And there are no trees, the young girl said. Always there were trees below us, and now there are just more rock. It's colder, too, another said. It's much too cold for an early autumn night. What has happened? Asked the woman. I think, Yi said slowly, we are no longer on our mountain. Somehow we are on a different one. How is that possible? A man asked. And why? Before Yi could open his mouth to reply, one of the children shouted. Home, she cried. Our home is right there. And it was their home. The dark red gate doors were wide open, allowing them to see the light shining from the windows of their home. Their chickens squawked a greeting, and their dogs jumped through the gate with cheerful barks. Our ancestors couldn't believe it. Dirty pots and pans that they had left in the morning were still in the wash bin. Mixed up shoes and hanging laundry were exactly where they were before. Even the book that Yi had left was open on the same page. Yi walked from room to room and house to house, with the family following like a parade. Finally, he found a slip of bright silk stuck in the hinges of the gate doors. He turned around to look at the family crowding about him. It's a miracle, he said to them. We have been moved here beyond the magistrate's reach. We are saved. The family cheered, but could not help asking, how? Who did this? Yi looked at the empty land around him, the dark blue sky with the moon above, and then at the thin strip of silk in his hand. This silk is from one of the children's kites. The kites brought our wishes up to the old man in the moon, and he must have decided that our destinies lay here, Yi said, and he mentioned upwards. For there are only one other here with us tonight, and it is only us and the moon. And your family has been here ever since? Dragon asked. Both children nodded. For over 100 years, our family has lived on the mountain, and we keep growing. Sometimes we travel down the mountain, sometimes people come to us. Anyone who visits is welcome to call our place home. So, Minli began, but her words died away as Dafu pointed towards the horizon. Minli and Dragon followed his hand and finally saw what could only be the never-ending mountain, home of the old man on the moon.